Oh, what a pretty banner.
Spared by Hannah. Protests turn deadly in Austin. Schiff is a little angry with Trump. And the second round of Republican stimulus being announced. Astros, all that and more coming up in today's Wade and Carter Show.
That place really was that pretty. Wow, Monday.
Hey, how are you?
Monday, I'm good.
Monday. There we go. I think that's better.
Is it good?
I think so.
Better.
How's that?
Wow.
Let's do this.
Wade and Carter weather brought to you by me and Ash. It's 79 degrees and sunny, believe that or not, in Victoria, Texas right now. That's what the Weather Rock says. Heading to a high today of 93. Pretty good chance of rain between 1 and 5, but for the most part, just sunny and partly sunny and hot.
We were spared by Hannah.
But
Hurricane Hannah.
We will rebuild. We still need some funds. We need some stimulus money, some federal money. I expect city council to appropriate some available loans with no collateral and no expectation of repayment. I want the form to be simple, and I want to be able, all you have to do is be a Victoria resident for more than 3 weeks. You should be able to get like $50,000. Why not? We've given away money for everything else. Trillions here, billions there.
Another trillion coming, maybe?
$10,000. All I want is $10,000. I have one little piece of a ridge roof. It blew off several months ago, but I'm attributing it to Hannah, and I want help rebuilding.
We had stronger winds come through here when a norther blows in December.
There's stronger wind in this studio. Yeah. What a disappointment.
Well, no, I'm kind of glad it went where it did, because for the most part, could it have made landfall in a better part of Texas to make landfall?
If you've got to hit the coast down around Port Mansfield is not a bad place. But, you know, as far as population of folks and
yeah, I mean it was
Hannah was everything Harvey was supposed to be. This is what Harvey was supposed to be until it decided to escalate into a crazy storm in 2 days.
I think I ended up with about 1.5 inches at the 2.4 over 2 days. Nothing.
I got
not near enough to. I mean, it'll make a little bit of a difference, but boy,
I fertilized.
Did you?
In the drizzle yesterday. Yeah,
that's not so good.
I think it's great.
Plug up your
no Scott's standard feeder. You know that stuff's caustic because everything on the feeder is plastic. You know,
even the wheels.
Yeah, I could explain these burns on my feet. I was walking around barefoot in the rain.
You have to try so hard nowadays to actually burn your lawn when you put fertilizer down. Yeah. You can't go and just buy fertilizer and put an FU in somebody's front lawn anymore.
No, that's over.
No.
Yeah, that's over.
No. Although you might want to try it on AOC's front lawn.
Yeah, I'm sure she has a little patch of grass somewhere. She's an odd bird.
She got all mad because some fellow congressman called her an F and B, and I can't help but sit and wonder about the absolute hypocrisy of her outrage, which I'm assuming is somewhat fake, because when you listen to her in the squad and how condescending and disrespectful and and swear-laden tirades they've all been on,
No doubt.
but they get a pass.
Well, she went on this crying deal of, this is what women, all women, I represent all women and all people of color. We've all put up with this forever. I'm like, no, they just think that you're a biatch. That's what they think about you, AOC. Hard to disagree when her track record is one of just divisiveness.
Well, I can't help but think, having worked in the bar industry,
Oh, she's heard worse.
she's heard worse, been subjected to worse, and put up with worse because it was going to lead to a bigger tip.
But she's the first one to blurt out, I am a United States Congresswoman. She's done that too. Like, don't you know who you're talking to?
But if you weren't offended in calling for change to the bar industry back when you were subjected to it
Right.
every single night,
Fake outrage.
but now you're mad because somebody turned the tables on you and talked to you the way you've been talking to everybody in this country, basically
Right.
on the other side of the political spectrum since you've been elected.
It's the way she talks about Donald Trump openly. I don't understand this deal where even when we had Barack Obama, we didn't lambast basically and put down the office of the presidency. This idea of this is a free country, we can talk bad about the president if we want. I don't know if it's healthy. There should be some respect for the position, and then we work our way backwards to find a new president if you don't like him. But don't just hate.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
Unless it's Trudeau. We can hammer Trudeau.
Yeah, we can.
Now, when are we at here?
Bobby Leister
I've
checking
seen 3
in.
people
Christina
there.
Wise, HR Mallory, good morning.
67
Still.
YouTube subscribers.
According
That's
to the
awesome.
Leisterometer. Karen Webb, good morning. Judge Posey, David Glass, Chris Conrad,
Good morning, Judge.
Lacey Rosenquist, good morning. That's a new name.
Yeah, let me tell you, that's Lacey Rosen. That's Deerland Feed right there. And I think, although I haven't made the call yet, Lacey, and I apologize, I think we're in forward deep negotiations to maybe bring on a new sponsor.
Okay.
So you be
Nice.
on your best behavior
I
today.
will. There's Marvin Mickish checking in. Fat Pat, good morning to you. Patrick Strauss. Scott Snow, the Iceman is in. Scott Tomko. So the Iceman got busy and ready for a storm that never happened.
Well, but you can
Story of your
never
life, Iceman.
you can
ship
never have
that
too
some-
much ice.
You can ship that somewhere else, I
Right.
guess. Greg Garcia, good morning. Lisa Poole. Jimbo Slice, HR Mallory. Joel Gomez, Scott Yearwood, Matt Boucher, Chris Jansen, Stephen
Matt.
Kidder.
You'd have been proud of me, man. I was out there with the Scott's Weeding feed, had that rig set on a number 4, pulled my handle and just spread that fertilizer all over the yard. I was quite proud of myself. My neighbors were like looking out their windows. He's a nut. I was in my pajama bottoms,
Pulling your handle out in the front lawn and
pulling my handle right there in the front yard. He was right over there. I said, "Don't look."
don't look, Ethel.
And it was too late. He'd come around the corner.
Kevin Myers, good morning. Kelly Frommy, Larry Leahy, Natalie Mayer, Monica Jost, Johnny Houghton, C.W. Bean.
What a group. Involved
Yeah.
Victorians.
Yep.
We appreciate you. Kelly Frommy checking in. She's become more vocal lately about politics and stuff. I enjoy her commentary. I think she's a very sharp person.
Matt Boucher, much needed rain and a nice break from the heat. I will agree on both fronts. I was
Right.
just hoping for a little bit more, but we'll see. I'll take what we can get. Can't be.
Your pasture has to be greening up though.
It
It
is.
just
Yeah, it will
could
now,
be
for
gone
sure.
by Wednesday.
Larry Leahy checking in. Christina Wise says AOC is just trying to get the votes. She always has something wrong.
Yeah,
Look at
what's
the
interesting, she won in like a dominating landslide up there. Like they're
Yeah.
like, that's our woman, that's our leader. That's crazy talk to me.
I've never quite figured out. You're in an area that hurts for jobs. In a poll, a legitimate poll, if you can believe the polls anymore, going door to door,
Right.
and 18% of her constituents, that was it, that supported and felt that she actually is doing a good job representing her district.
She ran off Amazon.
Yeah, she ran off Amazon. 25,000 new jobs. They're still building it around there, just not in her district.
Yeah.
Yet
18% approval rating. She wins by like 80% of the vote.
This is the company that's pledged to have all their power by green power within 20 years, right?
Yeah.
They're buying power plants. They're installing power plants to fuel their industry. They're buying electric vehicles. But this isn't green enough for her. She runs them off. 25,000 jobs coming to her district, which is hurting for jobs and has some of the highest unemployment rates in New York.
Well,
yet she gets reelected, or at least wins the Democrat primary by a landslide. She's got a Republican challenger, immigrant, I believe, from Jamaica.
Yeah, because you can't just have a local person run for office anymore. It's got to be like somebody. You have to make a statement about how empathetic you are about America to be elected.
But this is how stupid we've become as an electorate. The very issues that plaguing your district have not been addressed at all. In fact, she runs off a company that's going to bring 25,000 much needed jobs to your district, and yet you still turn around and give her a landslide of victory of like 78% of the vote.
Because she gets FaceTime on television.
No, that's exactly what it is. They're more impressed by the fact that she can get on there and they can go, oh, that's my congresswoman.
Look at Sheila Jackson Lee. How does it? Maxine Waters even. Nancy Pelosi even. The thing about AOC though, Ash, is that she will say stuff that doesn't even pass the smell test. Well, what we'll do is we'll tear down all the government buildings and then we'll hire people to rebuild them, and that'll put people to work. Yeah. What? We're going to tear down every government building and rebuild it with people that we hire that all work for the government. That way we know they'll get paid. Come on.
Joy Hancock checking in. Sheriff Louderback, good morning to you.
Sheriff.
Tim Dodge, good morning. Ron Koshin.
Hello, Ronnie.
Joy Hancock says, I'm not a huge Trump supporter, but it amazes me the degree to when people will speak ugly about not only Trump, but the past few presidents. It just seems to just get worse and just seems very treasonous. The way we speak about people that we elect. There's more here to govern.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing to watch this year, especially when you're reading people that you know. Man, it just moved on me. Moving too fast.
The thing is, she's exactly right, though. The thing is, you look at it, and it shouldn't be, if there's any class left in America, there shouldn't be being elected. I know you're a public figure. I know you can say anything you want about those people, but to denigrate elected officials just because you can, if they haven't really done anything to merit it. I mean, the man has survived an impeachment, total lack of total support. The people that ought to be upset is that if you're a Democrat, you should be offended that your party has absolutely taken the stance of anything Donald Trump is for, we're against.
Well, think about it.
100% against this guy. He can say, I have a cure for cancer. I'd like to put out $50 billion to get it to everyone in the world. The Democrats go, it should be 80. It should be 80 billion. And we're not doing it unless it's 100 billion.
You're just wanting to implant microchips in people.
Right.
That's what it would be. Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. But yet again, this is the party that has all of a sudden decided that it's okay to support lawlessness, to encourage that we no longer follow the rule of law. And we're okay with that. I mean, we flipped this country on its ear. But that's okay. This is the party that continues to allow that and actually encourage that.
we touched a nerve with Lisa Poole. She says AOC is absolutely feckless. I like feckless. She's horrible. All of a sudden, she's a victim. She and the squad always bash Trump. And then she came down with a second. AOC is also an idiot. Well, there you go.
Greg Garcia, how AOC got elected is anyone's guess. Lots of money. There's my beautiful wife. Cheryl checking
And
in.
it's probably Soros money. It's people that say, hey, we're going to put you in there. We'll buy you the wardrobe. You know, she was a bartender. Have you seen the way she dresses? It's like Coco Chanel. She is sharp dressed. You just can't get, she's got those eyes like Marty Feldman.
BJ Nelson checking in.
Remember Young Frankenstein? She looks, that's AOC. AOC is Igor.
Adam Daughtry, Peter McNally, Carl Big Boy Smith. Good morning, Jeremy Pena, Kelly Fromme. When AOC feigns such indignation because she is a United States Congresswoman, shouldn't all women be offended?
Yes.
I thought she represented all women. Your station in life shouldn't matter.
That's exactly right. That's, you know, who was that? Was it Maxine Waters? Who was that just recently got pulled over and got out of the car and said, do you know who I am?
Oh, that was Maxine Waters.
That's just craziness. That was almost as dumb as when Rick Perry told that guy, wrap this up, man. We got to go.
That video will come back to haunt her, I think, because she is in a runoff as well. California is the top two vote getters end up in the election, right? It doesn't matter the party. You could have two Democrats. That's how screwed up their system is when they run their primaries. But she actually has a legitimate Republican challenger. That video, I think, is going to come back to haunt her this time around. John LeBun, good morning to you. Oh, I just pulled my headphones out. Jerry Pena.
She's good stance.
Yep. Unfortunately, that won't happen this year. Steve Tyler checking in. Let's see who else. Steve Kidder says the microchips, that's what the COVID testing is for.
Right. Did you see where that big rig got blown over by Hannah?
Yeah.
You told me that.
Down on the highway in South Texas. That must have been loaded with just toilet paper and paper goods.
18 wheels got blown over on the side. It made me think about Allen's Record Service. Allen could go down there, maybe did go down there. 75-ton crane. He would just right that rig.
Even in the wind.
Yeah, no problem. Allen's Record Service, folks, 578-6300. Allen is the guy you need. If your car won't go, if you need to get it from here to there, if you want to just get a vehicle over to Carrizo Springs for something, you put it on a flatbed, he'll take it over there. 578-6300.
You just pulled that destination out of your butt, didn't you?
Carrizo Springs. Well, you made me think about toilet paper. Allen's is your go-to tow-to.
578-6300.
Our banner sponsors, the VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the only local owned and authorized AT&T retailer, all part of the Heartland Communication empire. They've been doing it for years and years. It just keeps growing. Now it's HomeLink a gate at your ranch. You need a pad site for an oil field experiment. They'll do that. You need surround sound on your back patio. You need those little rocks that sub as speakers. They can do that.
Those are cool.
They do surveillance. They do security.
Except when the dog pees on them.
They do, yeah. Yeah, but wouldn't that be great if, like, right in the middle of Van Halen, the dog lifts a leg and gets lit up? Looks like something out of Something About Mary. You know, they're having to shock the dog back to life. Dog's on fire. Little guy loves me. Anyway, VCS
We digress.
VCS, it's our show. It's Monday. The VCS companies are here for you, and they are absolutely our gold standard of quality and integrity in Victoria. The SCT Building Systems, Clayton and Casey help. They'll help you design, build, landscape. They'll help you position it on your property to optimize your views. These folks build.
I've been watching them build a covered patio on a home out near my place that I don't know if they were involved in the renovation, but I saw their sign go up and now they're building a metal covered patio and it looks great.
Well, they just do great work, quality work. Clayton has been building for years and years and learned from his father. It's just another local Victoria business blowing and going. Speaking of local business, for 100 years, Chesley Furniture Company, corner of One Lynn Bridge, 116 West One Lynn. Been there for 70 years. You need bedding. They have Tempur-Pedic bedding. They have televisions, appliances,
recliners, living room suites, dining room suites. They got it all.
Get down there. 100 years in business.
50% off all furniture too.
For during this celebration, Chesnick and Love make your house a home. And as Bobby Leon's grandfather said, you just do better at Chesnick.
So did you ever think, and maybe he didn't think, but we talked a little bit about it Friday with Dr. Fauci and his do as I say, not as I do.
Typical of the left.
I'll wear a mask, but I won't wear a mask when I have to. And boy, he caught a lot of flack over the weekend. There are people absolutely, and both the mask camp and the non-mask camp. People were mad at him because he basically just threw it in the face of everybody in this country for a guy who's been espousing masks when you can't social distance.
Correct.
And here he was sitting side by side. You've got a whole damn ballpark of nobody in it.
They could have had a seat between them. Now, say that was his family. If that was his family, but the gentleman sitting next to him was his age.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That, by the way, that's what it's going to be, folks. It's Animal Farm. Get ready. Spotted at the ballpark today, Adam Schiff with AOC. They were sitting right behind home plate. That's what's going to happen. Only the elites, only the politicos, the accepted party. That's all that's going to be at your ball games and at your big events.
Well, they're finding a way to fill those seats and make money. I think teams are charging like $100 to put your face on one of those cardboard cutouts out there. I think they should take it a step further. Sell them like Super Bowl squares, take down all the netting around the ballpark, and then when home run balls and foul balls hit them, split the pot. Half to you, half to charity.
Yeah. What is Jimbo saying? What is that deal with that guy? Who is that guy that's running for some Senate seat?
Ricky De La Fuente, I think is his name. If you're a Democrat, you should be embarrassed that you elected in the past primary a guy that is from California to run for Congress for District 27. He's also ran for a seat in Florida. It's as if he's just throwing dice hoping to win a primary, and he lucked out with Texas. Yeah.
What did he say? He said, I'm a fiscally conservative, socially liberal Democrat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do those even exist anymore?
I don't know. That's kind of what Bill Clinton was, but he's not Bill Clinton.
No. He put a video out there talking about border security and
from California.
Yeah. Well,
good morning, Uncle Norm.
I'm not sure where he was exactly. I mean, he might have been standing in front of a green screen and they just put video in behind him.
Right.
But it's hard to take the guy seriously. I mean, but there's nothing of substance in his platforms. He apparently comes from a fairly well-to-do family.
Got to be involved in all these races.
They own a bunch of rental properties. My understanding is they build a lot of Section 8 housing and then turn around and sell it as soon as they can after they built it and taken the government money.
But what you got to wonder is people are saying, with a name, Ricky De La Fuente, what they're hoping for, is they'll throw him in a race against some gringo named Joe Smith, and that the Latino community will bolster up.
In this case, Michael Cloud.
There you go. And he's not going to beat Michael Cloud, but the whole point is that's the hope. Beat the old rich white guy,
Yeah. Except in this case, it's young, non-rich guy, white guy.
Exactly.
But is there something wrong with our electoral system, though, when you can live in California and just decide to run wherever you want to? How can he state he's living in Texas when he ran in Florida? Can't be living both places at once, at least not enough of your time to actually be considered a resident in either one of them, can you?
He doesn't represent us. Larry Leahy said that 12 of the cardboard cutouts at Minute Maid got tested and they were positive for COVID.
Yeah.
It's on your mind that when you hear these things all the time, like ESPN 8, the Ocho, you hear those things in your head. The other night I heard, it's COVID-94, the virus. Yeah, I couldn't help it. I was like asleep.
Well, that would work in Canada where all the radio stations start with C.
Right.
All the call letters start with C.
COVID 93.4
with a
the
K.
virus.
COVID 98.7
Right.
Wouldn't that be it?
That'd be it. The virus.
100.1 because you got to have a fever.
Right. That's cool. That's good. See? COVID 101, the virus.
It's coming.
I like that a lot.
Saw a pretty good meme over the weekend. They found the remains of Jimmy Hoffa tested positive for COVID.
Right. He died of COVID. Little known. He was the initial person to bring it in.
That's why they offed him and buried him. They didn't want it.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to get us.
Saving him for a later date.
Cody Sugar, that brings up something. I don't know if you saw the not Jim Cantori videos that Cody posted over the weekend.
No, were they funny? Was he out there fighting the storm?
Fighting the storm in his yellow Captain Highliner, Gorton's fisherman looking jacket. And I saw 3 of the videos that he posted, and that was about all I could take.
Was he out there? Did you see the one where the guy was in Rockport? He had like the American flag and was standing on the pier. Big, heavy set fella.
Cody.
No, Cody's very fit compared to this cat.
Yeah, no, it was pretty good. I don't know how many videos Cody put out. Cody, if you give us a call, 575-9599, give us the not Jim Cantori update for this Monday morning because we need to know where we are weather-wise.
He'll do it.
I know he will.
Let's take that second break before he does.
Yeah.
Veracruz today, folks. Veracruz get in and have, queso, hot sauce, guacamole, the greatest.
How about something to go with that?
Fajitas. They have beef and chicken fajitas. You can get, Dawn and I love to do what we call the Wade and Carter Compuesto, which fried, you get a chalupa shell, beans, ground meat, lettuce, white cheese, lettuce, tomato.
Racist.
Yeah, gringo, queso blanco, and a dollop of guacamole on top. And I get the serranos all over it. And you just cut through that crunchy shell and eat it. Fantastic. Totally recommend Veracruz.
There's a menu idea for you.
That's
for lunch or dinner today.
And 576-6015 if you want to call and pick it up to go. The
Do that
bags
as well. Yep.
Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will come out. They'll study your analytics. They'll study your interaction between your Facebook and your web page. They'll help you collect money on your web page. It'll go straight to your QuickBooks. They do all that stuff.
They'll help your social media drive traffic to your web page so your web-based business can grow.
Ultimately, if you're a lonely guy, they can help you get a date. They do it all. You'll be like your own dating service just by having a better web page. Razor IT Solutions, JP is
Remind me to tell you about the dating and the NBA story.
Yes.
That came out over the weekend.
Yes.
Let's talk about this after the break.
The Antonov dealership since 1926, stacking them deep, selling them cheap, just down the road from high prices. You need to reach out. If you need a Cadillac, who doesn't? Chevy, Mazda, Mitsubishi, they've got a beautiful pre-owned lot. They only keep the best of the best. All the trades they get to keep the best ones.
Get on the list for that new Corvette.
Oh, perfect. And they've got a paint and body shop for when you ding them up, and they've got a service. They'll service your Buick. They'll service anything. They've serviced my Mercedes.
I'm hearing rumors Mazda's going to come back with the return of the RX-7 or the RX, awesome. Whatever it would be called. But
the RX. Powerful Mach 5.
Because I think they've had the RX-8 since then.
They probably have. They did. Everybody's retro. Ford's coming out with the new Bronco. So Chevy's got the Blazer. Reach out to Addison over now. And then White Trash Services, 550-1826.
They can help. They can help you clean up after the strong winds down along the coast.
Sure.
From Hannah this weekend.
Roll-off dumpster.
Need a weekly trash service. They can do it all.
550-1826. Another family-owned local business making a difference in the crossroads. White Trash Services.
Have a trash-tastic day.
Yeah. So we got a caller.
We do have a caller.
Is it Jim Cantori?
Is it? No, it's not Jim Cantori.
How are you doing?
Good morning, not Jim Cantori.
Sounds windy out there. Is it breezy where you're at?
So, how much damage did not Jim Cantori see over the weekend? I saw the video with the limbs down. That was appalling. I had to stop watching. The mailbox was leaning.
Were you leaning into that breeze, not Jim Cantori? I'm reminded of that view we had during Harvey down in Port Lavaca when the guy was standing in the hallway at the hotel and it was just blowing and blowing, and then all of a sudden the camera guy just kind of like walked by, and I was like, "That is so funny."
That might have been the inspiration for Cody's videos over the weekend. The craziness and silliness of some of these videos that get posted. And those videos prove it.
When the green goes away. No, you know you're having a bad day if 60 Minutes or Jim Cantori show up in your town.
That's exactly it.
Ron Sicka says he's tired of this Portland mess.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, what is that all about?
What's your take on that, Cody? Yeah, let's. Yeah,
Yep. You don't.
Well, they're trying. Yeah, from what I've seen, yeah, we're gonna get to that. But Jimbo Slice says ever since he saw your videos, he's wanted fish sticks.
Yeah, it's that yellow rain slicker.
so maybe so. I don't know. You might have to message him to get.
We may have to get you guys offline on that. But hey, as always, we appreciate the call.
Enjoyed the levity from the weekend, man.
I'm watching the speedometer go down on our show. That's odd. Cody never has 2 cups of. Hey, we love you
too.
It's like
you, Cody.
That's odd. Cody never has 2 cups of coffee at home. He's great. That's great stuff.
You're not brewing Folgers,
right? So yeah, this guy in Austin,
best of a mediocre bunch of coffee.
The quick story I got was this guy in Austin. There's like a protest thing going on. People, because you got to protest. You got to protest these days. And this guy, his mom says the guy that got shot, he couldn't talk because he got shot. And he says that the mom says he was a good boy, and he just took his girlfriend, who's a quadriplegic, to the protest. And he was pushing her down the road, and that this car came up
with his AK-47 strapped to his chest.
And he turned and pointed at this guy. Now, folks, we're talking about 4th and Congress. We're talking about the middle of Austin, Texas.
Yeah, apparently got to the intersection. The driver did, and the protest basically swallowed him up.
No, was it a sanctioned protest? Did they have?
I don't know.
Was there police protection there?
I don't know. A lot of people with their videos out, not doing anything to try to stop the situation from escalating, because that's the way things go these days.
But he pointed that rifle.
Yep.
An assault type rifle, a semi-automatic assault type rifle.
You can carry those when you're on the left.
You can carry them anytime you want, actually, but he pointed it at the guy.
Well, but they're not going to try to take his guns because he's on the left. Of course, he's on the right side of this.
He's on the correct side, right?
Correct.
The left side.
Yeah.
But he pointed it at the driver, and the driver said, "Hey, say hello to my little friend." Pop. Shot him, and
then somebody else returned fire at the car as it took off.
See, I have no problem with that. The guy got it. I mean, look, you don't want to play, don't play. I've got no problem with that. I mean, I think that it's crazy that we're living in a world where that happens. But if I'm in the car and you point a gun at me, I may kill you.
This is just the start, though, folks. We're going to start seeing an escalation of this sort of
Absolutely.
thing on both sides.
And the escalation will continue as you saw it. People on the left will die. That's the deal. Because at the end of the day, the left has no heart. In a mob, in a large group, they are all vocal and they're like a little cat fight. Okay, but when you really get down to it, when the big dog shows up, which will be the right, the redneck right, with all the guns and all the ammo and all the chewing tobacco, the people on the left are going to die. This is not a good thing. This is not what we need in America.
Well, and here's the other thing. Even if he didn't have a gun, my right foot is hammering that gas pedal.
Just run over him.
And I'm taking the guy down.
You know what the problem with that is? Problem with that is he ends up a paraplegic, and then you end up paying for him for the race. It's easier just to shoot him.
And then nobody can push his girlfriend anymore.
Right. Then he's going to push the girlfriend. You got to push him and the girlfriend.
Who takes their quadriplegic girlfriend in a wheelchair to a riot? Because I'm sorry, folks, at this point, these aren't just protests anymore.
No, these people
they're going to escalate, and you know things are going to happen.
Jimbo
Were you hoping she was your shield?
Christopher Conrad, oh, the humanity. Jimbo Slice, dude got smoked in Austin. Yeah.
His AK was loaded. He said so in an interview just before the protest. Yeah, he was bragging about basically doing harm to somebody.
I've got my gun. I'm here for the protest. Said there were 5 shots on the video you can hear before.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just.
People have opinions on this, though. Look at that.
Jeff Fonseca says Tom Rinaldi's another one you don't want around on the sports side of things. But see what else, what everybody else is. Let's see what somebody else is saying.
Well, you find some highlights on that. Quick update for you. Astros take 2 out of 3 from Seattle. Got another one coming up today. Have not seen an at-bat yet from Jordan Alvarez. I have no idea why. Maybe Dusty Baker's imploring him to. He's 22. He's like Juan Soto.
BJ Nelson asked, was she really a quadriplegic? That's what his mom said.
Right.
Because his mom immediately rushes to the media to try to paint a picture of her son that you don't get when you see the videos of him talking smack before he got shot, trying to look tough. He was just down there pushing his quadriplegic girlfriend and won the protest.
He's purely a peaceful guy.
Yeah. So
then I saw this weekend in the paper there were some people saying it said ups and downs, thumbs up, thumbs down. And one person said, well, I just think it's terrible that people were down at the square with weapons. And I'm like, we live in a society. Please note that nobody got shot. And we live in a society that allows that. I mean, it's not the people aren't breaking the law. They're just saying, hey, I'm going down here to make a stand. And when I do that, I'm going to be defending myself. Now, I get it that it works because they're the conservative folks. If it was the left down there with the gun saying, we need to take the statue down, I guess that's a whole different situation. But
and you had a bunch of people trying to out him for violating the governor's orders, which I believe 100 had to be more than 100 people. There weren't more than 100 people. So they were within.
That is the worst part of the left is that, when it's kind of like
this old woman in California, man and a woman take their dog to the dog park. They're outside, they're social distancing. They decide to have lunch while they're there. This old lady walks in, starts yelling at him, and then pepper sprays him.
Now, see, that's assault, and that lady should go to the pokey. I would sue that lady.
Started complaining about masks, and then after the story, of course, she backtracks. You're not supposed to have food in the dog park.
Don't get to
Who cares? You pepper spray somebody over food and not a mask in a dog park, which even by California's wacky standards, they weren't violating any mask ordinance because they were outside and there was no one around them.
Yeah.
This is how crazy we've become with this COVID crap.
It's ridiculous. I've said it. It's not popular. It's not. Nobody believes that anybody should ever die. We should all live forever. But the reality is,
that's bad for the environment.
COVID, isn't that funny? Because the same left that has been saying that we need to curb, births and that
population growth
and all that is the one that's the most vehement about the way Donald Trump has allowed the virus to spread. But it's interesting to me that if you watch like the wildebeest of the Serengeti. Now the wildebeest over in Tanzania, where the Serengeti is, the wildebeest is kind of like the quarter pounder with cheese of the Serengeti. Billions and billions served. They get eaten by everything: cheetahs, lions, hyenas, crocodiles. When they finally make it to the water, the crocodiles eat them. But here's what happens. All of those animals eat the compromised, the ones that can't keep up with the herd, the elderly, and the weak, and the sick. That's what every now and then a cheetah gets a young one. Every now and then.
You don't have to be the fastest. You just have to be faster than the slowest one.
That's exactly right. And the reality is the virus is the same way. The virus is thinning the human herd. And it is what it is. Now, if you're elderly, if you're compromised, if you have comorbidities, you're diabetic, you're whatever, you're on dialysis, you've got a dry cough, what you should do is avoid getting the virus. That's how you outsmart the Serengeti. But the reality is, this is nature, people. It's nature. Throwing blame around, freaking out about it, worrying about it, it ain't going to do it. You got to go on and graze the Serengeti. That's the way it is. Sorry.
We didn't get enough rain this weekend to graze the Serengeti.
Right? It just is what it is.
Yeah. How about more idiocy out of Portland? Police officer who been on the force for 20 some odd years.
Yeah.
Also acts as a high school football coach. Well, when it came to light that he's a high school football coach, and back in 2001, he had a couple of incidents on his record. One in which he shot an armed man, and it turned out later that this was a good Samaritan who disarmed the bad guy. And he received money, and no fault. He was no fault of his own. Then there was another incident where they tried to get him, and actually turns out that he was attacked by the bad guy, and used enough force to didn't kill anybody. Right. But these both happened in 2001. We're talking 19 years ago, right? He's been a high school football coach for a couple of years. Well, apparently this all came to light, and they called him into the school board for a meeting. This is his version of it. They brought up his past. They brought up his police record, asked him about the incidents, said it didn't matter what I told them. Their minds were made up, and then now he's no longer a high school football coach in Portland. Of course, the school district says, well, that's not why. We just decided to go in a different direction.
Yeah. Liars.
Yeah. So
Jimbo Slice says that we missed an interview that he gave. We did. We missed an interview by Jimbo Slice. But that he said if you play with your Facebook settings and somehow change your Facebook name, you're stuck with it for at least 60 days. So we're hoping he can get that straightened out.
Is that a Facebook remorse story?
Right. Steve Tyler brings up, like in Mad Max. Remember Mad Max? Mel Gibson as a kid?
Any cattle catchers on our car when traveling in Democrat big cities. We gave up the roads, wouldn't require a permit, deposit, and cleanup of conservative protests.
Right. Yeah, you got to wonder about all the garbage they leave laying around. Now, that is one thing about, I got to give props where props are due. Our local protest, remember that little protest we had? It was going to be big, big, big. They all met at Petty Dodson. It got hot over by the old Arby's, and the turn went back. They did not litter. Hats off to them for that.
Still could arguably attribute our start of our spike to
no doubt. There's no doubt that was a COVID spike moment. They were out there, not social distancing, no masks, walking, sweating, exchanging body fluids.
You can go sit in a restaurant and you can't go sit in a bar. I've never quite figured that out.
No, I haven't either, and I feel bad for some folks that I know that are, it's all based on TABC. If the government has labeled you a bar, which by the way, 51% or more of your revenue is derived from alcohol sales. If you're a bar, you're absolutely closed. But if you're a restaurant, you sell all the booze you want.
Yeah. So
the restaurants are the new bars.
Kind of.
Yeah, 25%.
And you can get it to go.
Yeah. Oh, you can take it with you.
Yeah.
sometimes the government just needs to step aside. The idea that getting your hair cut, I mean, I'm as close to you as anybody that's going to cut your hair. If I'm cutting your hair and I have a mask on, how am I giving you COVID?
You cut my hair and not have a mask on, how you give me COVID?
I 100% agree. And there are still folks that I don't have a problem wearing the mask in public.
I don't either.
I don't have a problem with it. But I'll tell you, I don't feel any safer. I feel silly because of it. I'll tell you what it has done, and this should trouble many of you. People don't have any bull left. You can walk through HEB. I turned a corner the other day and almost ran over a gentleman, and I don't know him. I said, "Oh, excuse me." And then all he had to say was, "No worries," you know. Instead, just looked at me. He didn't say anything. He didn't want to talk into that mask. People have lost all their interpersonal relationships because of this.
Well, you can't even, I mean, I'm starting to see stories on social media too. Similar situation. You accidentally bump into somebody with your cart. You can't see the smile or the sheepishness on somebody for accidentally bumping into you, and then they get mad at you.
Right.
You know, yep. Then they can't hear your apology because the mask is muffling you.
They can't hear you mumble about them as you
No.
walk away either. That's the plus.
That's the plus.
Maybe if that congressman would have had a mask on, AOC wouldn't be in such an outrage.
Maybe not. Wouldn't have been able to understand them. It's Clayton Meyer checking in. Miranda Tunja says everyone's just so scared it's really depressing.
Back in Texas, she said. I'll tell you who can understand you through your mask. Uncle Mutt's Barbecue. I want brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, turkey. I want some Uncle Mutt's rice, green beans,
Fried sweet corn.
pinto beans, cabbage, coleslaw, potato salad,
You have to speak loud and enunciate when you're wearing a mask.
pea salad, and a loaf of bread. Now that's $900 well spent. Get by Uncle Mutt's today. Pick it up to go. Take it home. Heat it up again if you want to. I like it cold. Cold brisket sandwich is good.
Like a
Little
cold,
sauce.
like a leftover hamburger.
Yeah,
Cold
yeah,
hamburger sandwich.
it's good, right?
Yep.
Uncle Mutt's today. Gray Barn Design. We have a big party. We're gonna have a big party. Ash and I are having a big party. I want you to know. Without
We just don't know when yet.
I've already talked to the band. I already know who the band is.
Okay.
I'm doing it. I'm fixing to reach out to Club Westerner. I'm going to talk to them. Maybe it'd be big enough. Schrader's too far though. Our crowd may drink too much beer to get Schrader.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. We'll talk about
Talk to Casey.
it. One thing about Club Westerner, it's right there by the jail. We can invite Justin Marr. He can just wholesale load people up and take them over there.
Schrader's closed right now because they are a bar.
Yeah, it's dumb. That's dumb. That is dumb.
Chris
And-
Conrad says Ash's haircut party.
Yes, that's a great idea. Maybe we'll get his hair cut at the party by a professional. That would be awesome. TLAC could do it. She really could. 920-6803. Cheryl will be designing our party. Gray Barn Design will. We have a retainer with Cheryl that will allow us to have a great party that you'll get to see her expertise on
Up close and
display.
personal. Our budget may not allow for much.
920-6803. USA Concrete Coatings, dial 578 home. Charlie Garcia will come out. He'll treat your concrete, sand it down, get the oil off, put a polyurethane coat down, put some flex in there that you'll love. It's going to be much better looking. It's stain free. The oil won't seep through it. Your tires won't stick to it. You'll be glad you did.
Non-slip, non-chip, non-peel, non-crack,
Absolutely.
UV protected.
While you're doing that, reach out to Wint. It's definitely generator season. Wint Electrical can help you with all your electrical needs. They will help you beat the next time.
Give them a call. You will really be surprised at how affordable a generator, a
Yeah.
whole home backup generator, really and truly is. Honestly, you're going to be shocked because the prices have come way down. As with most things, they were a lot more expensive when we first started talking about Wint Electrical 4 years ago. They've come down.
Oh yeah, the price
almost in half.
And with the solar panels they can do now you can store the energy into a battery pack. Now we'll promote this several times this week. The Victoria County Volunteer Fire Department is having a barbecue plate and raffle this coming Saturday, August 1st, out on at 25 North Hangar Drive.
That's near the
right
airport.
by the
terminal.
airport.
Yep.
Barbecue plates, brisket, and sausage are $10. That's from 11 to 2. And then they've got a whole host of things over here that they're, Visa cards, help me out.
Guns.
Yeah, guns, cooler, several nice guns.
Yeah.
780 over the scope, 22 250, a concrete
12
bench.
gauge over under.
Nice stuff. Very nice stuff. And the key is it's for a great cause to help the volunteer fire department. Tickets are $20 or 6 for 100. And
there's at least 14 items on that raffle.
Yeah, and here's the number: 571-8664.
There you
That's
go.
571-8664. We'll try to promote it more during the week, but Ash and I are huge first responder fans, and the Victoria County Volunteer Fire Department is just a great, great group of folks.
All volunteer firefighters are great.
Andrea Dry Caney. I'm sorry, Andrea says, great. Now I want some Peace Out. I love Peace Out.
Get over there around 10:30, 11. They'll be open.
They say we open around 10:30. Yeah, it's good.
Clayton Meyer says he hates sneezing with his mask on. It's a wet my pants type of feeling.
Right. Well, at that point, since nobody has attributed a sneeze to COVID, I think you're probably okay to lift your mask, right, and just cover it with your hand.
And then shake hands.
I heard the other day it was wash your hands, maintain distance, cough into your elbow. Like, dude.
Which I don't get because everybody's elbow bumping nowadays, right?
Come on.
Sky Sanchez says a young girl rammed her basket into her at Walmart Friday evening, cornered her because and lectured her on needing to wear her mask.
Yeah, this deal of being the mask play. If you want to wear a mask, wear it. If the state or the city wants to give someone a ticket for not wearing a mask, that's probably within their rights. If you are dumb enough to confront someone about not wearing a mask, don't be surprised when you get punched.
I'm pretty sure Lou Williams from the LA Clippers was not wearing a mask.
Sweet Lou. What did Lou do now?
Well, he was put into the 10-day NBA quarantine.
Think about this, folks. At what? Honestly, like $100,000 a day.
I have no idea.
What did Lou do?
Well, apparently went to the strip club.
Well, there's no social distancing there.
He probably wasn't wearing a mask either.
So when the NBA found out, they put him in quarantine.
Yeah.
I guess that's a lesson.
Is it?
I hope.
I think he'll be the first that we hear of this. I doubt he'll be the last.
No, James Harden makes a living in the strip club.
But how desperate, what kind of problems do you have if your livelihood is getting back on track and you can't even stay out of the strip club?
That's just
for what, 2 months?
Yeah.
I mean, how long is this NBA season going to be?
Like Chris Conrad said, hey, he left the bubble. And that's true. I mean,
yeah.
Sky Sanchez. Oh, no, was it Sky? Who said?
So Christina Weiss says the mask needs to be put somewhere else in the strip club.
That's a legit point. Yeah, did you see this? Sky Sanchez says he probably went to the drive-through strip club. There is one in Houston. You drive down, they have those little metal barricades, and that just makes it all look so silly. You know?
They had them at the strip clubs in Vancouver, British Columbia. They had the strippers in a see-through plexiglass box on stage. I saw pictures of it.
It's so silly.
That's how they're getting around it. Everybody's got to work.
Right? Everybody's got to work.
Johnny Hodden says he must have been there for the lunch buffet.
Yeah, Peter McNally makes a great point. Let Walmart do the mass policing. I agree. Walmart does a pretty good job. You know, when you go over there now.
Here's the problem I've got with it.
Out.
When things were bad and we were panicking and everybody's rushing to buy toilet paper off the shelves and all the paper products, you still had the ability to go in both doors at Walmart, the grocery side and the home side. Now they've got everybody going in the home side.
Same thing at Home Depot. Like you're like 9 miles from your car. I was at Home Depot the other day, and the guy was so helpful. I told him, I said, "Are you sure you shouldn't be working at Lowe's?" Because in general, Home Depot is kind of like, honestly, that's kind of like where the pros go. I don't know about the pricing. To me, there's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. But Home Depot is like you could walk in and go, I need a 47 2x4s and some blah, blah, blah. And they'll load it up on a truck. Lowe's is where you're going to go, I need one of these things. It's like this. And then they help you find like a fixture valve or some 30 weight. Lowe's is a more helpful store in stereotype to me. Right? Now, do you have
I'm
a Tractor Supply guy because you live on the 2-4 ranch.
Well, Home Depot's all the way across town.
Well, I agree. It's like at least 5 miles from your home. But I find myself going, I told this guy, I said, man, you really helped me today. I said, are you sure? Are they hiring at Lowe's? Because I said, you could get out of here. And he laughed. He knew what I was saying.
I'll be honest, I've never had problems at either one of those stores.
I didn't have
with customers. No, but I mean, I know people complain about the customer service at Home Depot as opposed to Lowe's. I've never had issues with customer service at either one.
Well, you're Canadian. I mean, if they don't.
Maybe because when I walk in, I just look lost.
Right. Yeah. You're like a rescue dog yourself.
Oh, this guy needs some help.
Right. Help him.
Yeah. I see 5 of them run the opposite way, and the one guy who I obviously drew the short straw starts walking towards me.
Right. Both
they're all sitting there doing this.
Right. Both employ numerous military veterans, and I appreciate both organizations.
So
I think that'll keep us from getting sued.
We're not getting sued.
Right.
We didn't say anything that's
not observable.
observable.
That's exactly right.
Diane Tippett, good morning to you.
56 minutes after the hour. That makes it almost Tuesday in Newfoundland.
See, Jimbo Slice covers our rear. Depends on where you're at. He's been to places where it was flip-flop. Home Depot was helpful. Lowe's was not.
Right. It's
the people, not a policy or business model.
Jimbo Slice, store evaluator.
Speaking real facts.
Right. Y'all's Home Depot just around the corner from Lowe's. Yep. Isn't it funny how often
3 minutes.
CVS is right across the street from Walgreens? Somebody told me that was like by design.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
They were in a competitive.
Aren't they owned by the same company now?
No,
I know.
Probably. George Soros owns them both.
Sky Sanchez says she lets the merchandise tell her what she needs in Home Depot.
Did we talk about it all? We talked about the Astros winning 2 out of 3 in another game today. Verlander felt a little twinge in his forearm.
Yeah.
Really got miffed at the Houston Chronicle that reported multiple sources saying that Justin Verlander was out for the remainder of the season. He said, that's just not true. I've pitched and won the game. I just felt something in my forearm. I'm going to take a couple of days off.
I wonder which home run he felt that twinge.
Yeah.
The first one or the second one?
Probably the second one.
2 solo shots. No harm, no foul.
No harm. He doesn't care about that.
No.
He's, without doubt, the best pitcher on the planet who's most likely to give up a dinger.
Yeah.
Right? There's no other pitcher. Kershaw doesn't give up as many bombs. Sale doesn't give as many bombs. I mean, he gives up more bombs than anybody to be the reigning American League Cy Young winner.
I tell you what, I thought McCullers pitched a heck of a game on the second game of that series. What was that, Saturday night?
Yeah, and he was the first win in over 2 years. He was eager to go, eager to get back on the mound. And
they must have put a bionic ligament in with the Tommy John, because I swear his fastball was about 2 miles an hour faster than it was.
He had to have some anxiety. A great story, a kid that we got, 24 years old, his last name is Taylor, left-handed pitcher, came over in the trade for Jake Marisnick, Ida Caballero's favorite player. And the kid said that he literally cried when Dusty Baker called him and said, hey, you made the big league roster. He's only 24.
The only reason he made it is because they expanded the rosters this year.
But he pitched the other night,
just
and
kidding.
3 up, 3 down.
Yeah.
Did very well.
Bob Wiley says Verlander shouldn't have stepped on that BLM logo.
That's right. Did you see that out in –
How with today's technology do you not just put that on – somehow generate that so it's not actually on the dirt?
I don't know.
I mean, you're asking pitchers to not walk on something as they're trying to get the rosin bag and
it's just done.
Do all their stuff.
If you want to whore out your field and advertise all over, that's fine, but don't expect players not to step on it. The other thing that's interesting is, did you see that in front of I think it was in New York City. I can't be positive. It was a Planned Parenthood building, and in blue and pink letters, they wrote "Baby Lives Matter."
No, I did not see
in
that.
front of the Planned Parenthood. I thought that was interesting.
What I think is interesting this year with Major League Baseball, we talked how a team can get on a hot run, go 13-0, 12-0, and really set themselves up. Every team in the major leagues right now except for the Dodgers because they've played 4 games. But there is not a team that doesn't have a win and doesn't have a loss. The majority, I would say probably 98% of the teams are either 2-1 or 1-2 after 3 games. So it's tight. I thought somebody, nobody's going to go. Obviously, nobody's going to go for a streak before their first loss because they've all had one. Astros kind of blew it late. I thought they were going to be a 3-0 team. Got to quit paying attention to it in the 8th inning when they were ahead.
Yeah, Greinke got him in a hole the other day. He pitched 3 1/3, gave up like four hits and 3 runs that were all earned. Apparently his command, which I'm not worried about. I'm not worried about it. He's got great control. That's what he's known for. But his command was not where it needed to be.
Wasn't the Greinke we saw in the postseason.
Right.
Hopefully he finds that Greinke again.
He's a little bit of a flake, as an individual.
Well, he's got some legitimate anxiety issues. That's why he stepped away from baseball for a while there, was to try to
get his head right,
figure out how he could actually get back on the mound. And
somewhere around $20 million, he figured it out.
Maybe so. Not sure.
What else do we have on our list? Do we have anything else on our list?
Well, a couple of things. Adam Schiff getting mad at Donald Trump because the president, ordered the Chinese consulate in Houston to be closed. Said it was needlessly escalating stuff, even though the president says the Chinese are breaking our laws. They're surveilling on our citizens here in this country. They're engaging in government espionage and business espionage.
Right.
So we're done with it. Then they're burning all their documents on their way out, right? Because they had 72 hours to get the heck out of Dodge.
And Schiff says Trump's being too mean to him.
Too mean to me. Yet at the same time, he acknowledges that China's bad and that the government, the Chinese Communist Party, has been doing all the things that Donald Trump accused them of doing because he's the chair of the House Intelligence Committee. But President Trump's a bad man for kicking them out of the country.
Schiff wants to acquiesce to China. He wouldn't. He has no problems. A couple of quick points. Patrick Strauss says, hey, it's been 66 years since there hasn't been a team that started 3-0. And my Aunt Betty comes in with a good one. I saw the San Francisco Giants have a young pitcher. His last name is Coonrod. And he chose not to kneel. Now, they had a deal, and I have no problem with this. If you want to be a sheep, be a sheep. They had this deal where both teams came out after the introductions. There's nobody in the stands. You're not making a statement to anybody. But both teams took a knee, and everybody kneeled except Coonrod. And Coonrod simply said, hey, I'm a Christian. I'll only kneel before God himself, and I'm just not a kneeler. I'm not taking a knee. So far, it doesn't seem like the left has bashed him too badly. But it's like just the same people who say, well, hey, if Kaepernick wants to take a knee, let him, should say, hey, if Coonrod wants to stand, let him. You be you, I'll be me, and let's just see what happens when it's all over. But I just found it very interesting as well, Aunt Betty, that he stood. He's a big old kid too. He just stood and said, "No, I ain't
not going to do it.
Not going to do it." And I don't know. It doesn't make him a racist. Doesn't make him a hate. No more than when Cap took a knee. Didn't make him anti-American. You actually kind of you didn't sympathize, and I know you wouldn't kneel. I don't think, but you had some empathy. Said, "Hey, look, that's his right as an American." And you know what? The way you came in, assimilated, earned your citizenship, I think you're probably more in tune with patriotism and what it means to be an American versus being something else than me, who was just privileged to be given that gift at birth. I think that when you said to me, hey, look, man, if he wants to kneel, that's his privilege as an American. I thought, you know what? Maybe I need to, and I did. Maybe I need to back off that a little bit because Ash has a perspective that I don't have. Now, privately, one-on-one, I would tell Kaepernick, get a haircut and straighten up. But publicly, I'm like, nah, you're right. That's his right if he wants to do it. And that's the same way I feel about Mr. Coonrod. He said, hey, I'm going to stand. I'm not going to kneel unless I kneel before Jesus Christ. That's the way it's going to be. You have just a big old country boy saying, I ain't doing it.
You think part of the reason that he hasn't felt the wrath is the city that he plays in? He's in San Francisco. If he might have been playing somewhere else, Kansas, well, I don't know, Kansas City because you're in the Midwest. Certainly in Texas, maybe.
Minneapolis. Ilhan Omar might have gone out there and took his knee out. right?
True enough. True enough.
There you go. Folks, we're out of here today. It's Monday. Please be safe on the roads. If you need them, call Allen's Record Service.
If you don't call them.
Yeah.
They're busy enough.
But do put 578-6300 in your phone. Have a great day. Be safe, and we will be here tomorrow. Tuesday's my least favorite day. Try to call us and help us out.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye. What do you think? Is YouTube on?
No, not yet.
Bye, YouTubers.
See you, YouTube.
What'd you say?